Richician!
Hey YouTube, Richician84 here, and welcome to Q&A number 149. Let's kick it off. The first three questions are from Gungner. Yeah, he got here first for once. One, did you get the new Dark Magician from Infinite Forbidden? No, I haven't yet. I keep forgetting about it. I do need to get hold of that and Dark Magic Mirror Force for my Dark Magician card collection, although I don't know how I'm going to get it. But at least the Ultra Rare is cheaper than the Quarter Century Secret Rare. I heard that that's worth quite a lot. Yeah, hopefully I'll get it soon. 2. What do you think about his own Mirror Force in Infinite Forbidden? It's the first Mirror Force that gets triggered even if you are not getting attacked. Yeah, it's very good actually. Yeah, it only works in one deck unlike all the other ones, but for the Shining Sarcophagus archetype, it's a great addition to it. I like it, especially when it has a bonus effect with Dark Magician being on the field. Otherwise it's just hard to play it outside of its own archetype. 3. Where did you get the cards for Emma's Pearly deck and what's still missing? Well, most of them I picked up in trades during the time I was going to Tabletop Republic, and my good friend Silver Cyclone helped me out with a lot of them. Even though we have every single Pearly card, there are still cards that are missing. I must admit, it does get quite annoying when people try offering me Pearly cards that I've already got. I mean, fair enough if they don't know, but otherwise, well, they should consult my trade list. So yeah, we still need Effect Veiler, Forbidden Chalice, Downward Magician, Zeus, Sylvan Princess Sprite, and Protector of the Agent's Moon. Because those are all apparently good cards to have in the deck based on a couple of deck profiles I have seen, because yeah, I needed some ideas for how to construct it, considering I'm not very experienced with them myself. Anyway, yeah, that's what we need still. Next 3 questions are from Matt and Alison Welch. 1. At the time of posting this question, it hasn't happened yet, but I will ask this question anyway. What did you think of the live duel between Yugi and Solomon Moto? Wayne Grayson, I believe, does a great job at doing the voice of Solomon. Yeah, he does, doesn't it? Oh, well, that's something I was meant to mention at the start. For those who haven't seen that duel yet, be warned, there will be spoilers from this point onward, so if you haven't seen it, pause this video, go watch it if you haven't seen it already, and then come back to it. Yeah, it was great. I liked it. I was a bit thrown off by the fact that Yugi was using Nightmare Magician, the Chimera stuff, and what else was he playing besides Shining Sarcophagus? I think that was it. I was expecting it to be a pure Gold Sarcophagus of Light deck, but it was still cool to see. It was nice seeing Nightmare Magician in action, if I can talk. Um, uh, yeah, I was a little unsure who'd win. I mean, I believe my guess was that Yugi would win, although I did have a feeling that Solomon might win, for a couple of reasons. One, he's the one that taught Yugi the game, and two, Yugi slash Atem would always win the other scripted duels that they were in, so it was quite refreshing and made a nice change. Although I was a bit gutted that he couldn't quite overcome the Exodia fusion at the last moment. But you know, it is what it is. It was still great for what it was, for sure. 2. In Rush Duels, Elemental Hero's Shining Flare Wingman is getting printed along with the Neo-Spacians. Nice. There are now new Neos fusions coming to Rush Duels that aren't in the regular OCG or TCG, which are Elemental Hero Pulse Neos and Elemental Hero Heat Neos. What are your thoughts and opinions on these new Neos cards? Do you wish we had these over here for the regular game? I know I sure do. Well, again, I had to look this up, because, well, everyone should know full well by now that I don't follow Rush Duels. I mean, I know I said I'd give them a go, but other than that, I don't follow Rush Duels. In fact, I don't follow anything that goes on in the OCG. Not even these Rush Duel anime, so I know absolutely nothing. So then I have to look up all this information. But luckily, they are on Edo Pro, and I have them right here. And they're new fusions that Neos, Aquadolphin, and Flare Scarab can go into. Let's move this up a bit. Yeah, I'll show you, all you guys watching, in case you don't know either. So, Pulse Neos is another fusion of Neos and Aquadolphin, and it's a contact fusion, and it says destroy one face-up level 9 or lower monster on your opponent's field, and it's not once per turn. That's pretty cracked. If anything, it's well, I don't know whether or not to say this is better or worse than well, not worse, but well, better than Aqua Neos. I mean, Aqua Neos has its uses, destroying cards in hand, but destroying level 9 or lowers can be very good, considering. Yeah, that is an amazing effect. I mean, and rather interestingly, it doesn't seem to target. Alright, yeah, it wouldn't work on Xyz's, Lynx, or monsters with a higher level, or something that can't be destroyed by card effects, but it's still great for what it is. And then, of course, there's Heat Neos, another fusion of Neos and Flare Scarab, and it's almost a splitting image of Flare Neos. Oh, this one does have a requirement. Send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Effect: this card gains attack equal to the number of cards on the field times 200 until the end of the turn. I don't know. I mean, I kind of prefer Flare Neos. Alright, yeah, Heat Neos gains points for every card, but I don't like that it's until the end phase, really. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, at least sending two could set up for, like, a Miracle Contact or Miracle Fusion play, assuming they're in rush duels. Or it helps set up for Monster Reborn if you mill a Beat Stick, but I don't know. Heat Neos is okay. Pulse Neos is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't know about Heat Neos, but Pulse Neos would be nice to see in the real game. Well, not real game, but the normal game, you might say. And 3. Any thoughts and opinions on the 2 new Rush Duel only sub-hero... What? I can't read. The 2 new Rush Duel only hero sub-archetype. Why was that a mouthful? Rising Hero... But how the fuck do you say this? Menachita? Menachita? Like, I don't know how the hell you say it. And Rising Hero Tantalum or Tantalium? Tantalium sounds more accurate. Well, let's have a look at them again. Yeah, here's the one whose name I can't say. I mean, that's pretty good for what it is. It's cool that that's not a once per turn effect. Just adding them back from grave to hand and doing another fusion play sounds pretty good. Tantalium, I'm very impressed with. It is pretty strong. Just kind of doing a somewhat similar thing to Pulse Neos, but just bouncing level 8 or lowers. Yeah, that can be very strong, and it's a great way to get rid of a powerful monster just like that, really. Oh wait, that's the bonus effect. Yeah, I should probably... Sorry, I didn't read these effects for you guys, for those who don't know what it is. So, this one, requirement, place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck. Effect, add 1 Rising Hero Argent or 1 Rising Hero Tantalium from your graveyard to your hand. And as for Tantalium itself, the requirement is send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Pretty standard cost in rush duels. Effect, this card gains 400 attack until the end of the turn. That part's okay, but it's just amazing if you have a Warrior Fusion. That's where, if you have a Warrior Fusion, you're able to bounce a face-up level 8 or lower monster on the opponent's field. So yeah, that's really great. That could be absolutely fantastic if this was in the normal game. Again, yeah, it wouldn't work on Xyz's, Lynx, or level 9 or higher, but that's still really good for what it is. Yeah, those are my thoughts. And the last 10 questions are from Super Ultra Hero 9961. 1. How did Odd Eyes become your favourite pendulum monster? Well, it's because, well, for a start, I have soft spots for protagonists' ace monsters, and they end up becoming some favourite cards of mine. I mean, have a look at the other ones. The Dark Magician became my favourite card in general. Elemental Hero Neos became one of my favourite Elemental Heroes. It's not number one, but it's still up there. Stardust Dragon became my favourite Synchro. Number 39 Utopia was my favourite Xyz monster, but then that went to Ebon Illusion Magician, and then that went to Utopia the Lightning. But then, of course, Utopia is still my favourite number monster. And of course, Firewall Dragon and Decode Talker are two of my favourite Link monsters. I mean, they're not number one, but again, still high up there. And I just really liked Odd Eyes for a number of reasons. Just not just the fact that it's Yuya's ace monster, but the fact that it's just one of the best pendulums in general, if not one of the best earlier ones, just because, well, it's never a brick in your hand. You can just freely activate it, pop it to get a search in the end phase, along with the fact that, well, within its own arc, the archetype of Odd Eyes, Performer Powers and Magician Pendulums, it's very, very easy to bring out. And I, of course, have had a lot of fun playing it in, well, all the Pendulum decks I've played, really. Pendulum Dark Magician, Odd Eyes Dimension Dragon, my Yuya character deck, even my normal Pendulums. Oh, and Supreme Kings as well, even though Odd Eyes wasn't one of the main monsters. It's just really versatile in those sorts of decks and very, very handy. Plus, doing double battle damage when it battles a monster is a nice touch as well. Sorry, I just needed to get something out. 2. Who is your second favourite Elemental Hero? That, my friend, would be Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. The original form of Shining Flare Wingman. Well, sure, he's only got 2100 attack, but he has such an awesome effect. And, I just grew to really admire Flame Wingman ever since I first saw it in the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's just one of the most iconic heroes ever. And the upgraded form, Shining Flare Wingman, just impressed me even more. And just really made me want to make Elemental Heroes. 3. Is Shining Neos Wingman one of your favourite fusions? I guess it is, yeah. It is good fun going into him and going in on the attack with him. Even though I prefer Shining Flare Wingman, but Neos Wingman is just still really awesome as well. I wish I had room for him and the Wingman monster in my Neo-Spacian deck, but I just don't. Again, it's just really annoying that there's no setting to increase the extra X size on Edo Pro. That would make things a lot easier for Richician format games on Edo Pro. Again, I just feel too restricted. 4. What do you think of the 4 Dimension Dragons? That is my favourite deck to play. I assume you mean the dragons themselves, or just decks based on them. I mean, as you may have guessed, I enjoy playing a deck with all 4 of them. Well, Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon I've already talked about. Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. It's hard to say whether or not this or Starving Venom is the favourite of the 4, as they're both great in their own ways. Yeah, Dark Rebellion is a very good, handy rank 4 monster that can be played in almost anything. And you know, it has helped me get out of a few jams in the past. Shame it doesn't see that much play in general these days, but yeah, it's just still a fantastic, versatile card, and just one of the easiest ones to bring out. I mean, yeah, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon's also pretty easy to bring out. In anything that can make level 7s. The problem is it's kind of overshadowed by the likes of Black Rose Dragon, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, that Blade Dragon thing, the Dark level 7 common. But yeah, I like to include Clear Wing in a deck if I can. Yeah, especially in my Speed Voids and Dimension Dragons. I mean, those decks just gotta have him, like, no question about it. And of course, I'm still looking for that card, seeing as I'm rebuilding my Dimension Dragons. And then there's oh, actually, wait, before I go on to Starving Venom, I mean, shame the effects of Clearwing don't come up very often, but when they do, Clearwing's just very helpful. And Starving Venom, though, just very versatile as well. Very handy for anything that plays Darks, or of course is one of the best Super Poly targets as well. I mean, in Predaplants and Dimension Dragons, it's a formidable force, but outside it's just very, very handy. I, of course, have played it in the likes of Dark Magician. I still play it in my Summon Skull deck, and it's very handy when going against other Dark decks. I like to use the 2 cards as side options for Endymion, or at least I did when I was actually playing in tournaments at Dead Universe Comics and would face Weber's 5. Because let's face it, it's one of the few ways that can get rid of Endymion. That is, if Magician's right hand isn't on the field. I mean, the fact that it can just stop Super Poly and defeat the whole point of its gimmick is just bullshit. But I already had that rant some time ago, but anyway, that's not the point. And yeah, Starving Venom's effects are very handy, just gaining power upon its summon and copying effects of high level monsters, and popping the field, well, not popping the field, but destroying special summoned monsters. Yeah, it's great. One of my friends hates that card, but I was like, what's wrong with Starving Venom? He said, just the fact that it pops my special summoned monsters, but I'm thinking, so? I mean, Absolute Zero does near enough the same thing. Only it pops any monster, regardless of whether it's normal or special summon. Plus, there are other monsters which Starving Venom doesn't do anything against. And there's worse monsters, to be fair. Starving Venom's great. Even though it's not in my top 10 fusions. 5. Would okay, I think you need to sort out your autocorrect, because that's, I mean, no disrespect, but some of these words are a bit jumbled up. Which, like I said, I'm assuming is down to autocorrect. Gotta love it. I know what you're meant to say here, and that is, would you put the other forms of the Dimension Dragons in the deck? I'm not sure what you're referring to here. Are you referring to the upgraded forms, or the manga counterparts? Because I'm not too familiar with some of them. Although his Phantom Dragon I kind of am. Clearwing Fast Dragon I am very familiar with, because that is something I also play in both my Speedroids and Dimension Dragon deck. The other manga counterparts, not so sure. But I don't think I would. Actually, no. Like I said, I already do play Clearwing Fast Dragon in my Dimension Dragon deck. Oddeyes Phantom, I didn't even consider that. I'm not sure I would, just because of lack of space, and there is another thing about it which I'll come back to when I talk about the upgraded forms. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, for instance. I mean, I think I did consider putting Crystal Wing in, but I don't have a way to summon it. Because, I've only got level 7 Synchros in there, and I haven't got any level 1 tuners, so... and it would be hard to find the room. Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon I absolutely can't play in the deck, because Greedy Venom, or one of the fusion materials on Greedy Venom, is a Predaplant monster, and I can't exactly put in any Predaplant monsters. Dark Requiem or Arc Rebellion, possibly. It depends if I've got room to put in a rank up spell. But my only concern is that because Xyz monsters aren't the only focus, I'm just concerned that rank up spells might be a brick. I mean, I have an okay number of level 4s, but I just don't feel confident that the deck will keep up its consistency. The other thing is, I feel like the other forms would sort of draw attention away from the Dimension Dragons themselves. After all, the whole point is to get them out and just have the focus be on them. Then again, I have needed to go into other fusions to help turn the tide of the duel, like Performapal Gatling Ghoul. I mean, if I was playing a pure Odd Eyes deck, then I would consider Phantom for sure. But going back to Greedy Venom, maybe I'll give Predaplants a whirl in my deck building challenge on the Team Sorcerers channel. 6. What do you think would have happened if Jaden had Neo send the Neo-Spacians in Season 1? Ooh, that's an interesting what-if scenario that I didn't consider. Well, I'm not sure how much would change though, but that would be interesting to see. Uh, to be honest, I feel like Zane still would have beaten Jaden in their first duel, and Kyberman still would have beaten Jaden because plot convenience. Um, uh, um, Other than that, I feel like a lot of Jaden's duels would have gone the same way. Because the duel results still would have needed to be the same somehow. Going into Season 2, regarding the second duel with Jaden and Asta, I don't know whether or not Jaden would have still lost that one. I mean, I feel like if he'd have straight up won that, then there'd have been no need for their third game, and the plot would have moved along a lot quicker, and Jaden would have been around for any of the duels that took place between the second and third duels with Asta, like just being on the sidelines. But it's hard to say what would have happened if he'd still lost. I guess maybe he'd have still travelled to Neospace, but got upgraded fusions. Although the loss and still going there is unlikely. But yeah, other than that, I don't think much would have changed. I feel like the plot would have slightly moved forward a lot faster. Just like how I was talking about in my video, what if Jaden beat Asta in their second duel? 7. Would you duel against the other 3 protagonists? I don't know about that. I mean, I assume, of course, you're referring to Yusei, Yuma, and Yuya, but what about Playmaker? I can see it now. Playmaker be like, "Am I a joke to you?" It's all good though, all good. Well, right now at least, that would be impossible to do, because while I do still have my Yusei and Yuma character decks, I currently don't have Stardust Junk, Utopia, or Oddeyes Dimension Dragon. Although, as I said before, I am rebuilding my Stardust Junk and Dimension Dragon decks. But there's no plans to bring back Utopia. I mean, if I did want to do me versus Yuma, then I would have to rebuild it, which wouldn't be easy to do. Unless the newer Utopia cards are cheaper now. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, I wasn't really planning to anyway. As the duel with me and Yugi was something I was planning for a while, and of course last year I only just got round to doing it, and I figured it would be a great way to celebrate my channel's 16th anniversary. I wasn't planning on dueling any of the other protagonists. I only did the duel with Jaden because it was highly requested. Um, uh, uh, but I don't know. I feel like it would just be more of the same as um, the other two duels. We'll see, though. 8. What do you think of Utopia Ray V? To me, he's probably one of the better forms, but he can't beat the original form. Without original Utopia, you can't bring out the other Utopias. I assume that's what you meant to say. Oh, I do love Utopia Ray V. In fact, that is one of my top 10 favourite Xyz monsters. Yeah, that's another top 10 video I did do. Like, I did a full detailed version on Team Sorcerers 4 years back. It's in a playlist, and I did a shortened version on my channel. Yeah, Utopia Ray V is great. Just being able to pop a monster, do damage, and still be able to attack. So, it doesn't have the same drawback as Volcasaurus and Destiny and Dragoon. Destiny and Dragoon forcing me to skip my battle phase, and Volcasaurus not being able to attack directly. So yeah, Ray V is just absolutely amazing. Well, sadly I wasn't able to fit him into my Utopia deck because, well, I just found the other ones more helpful. But then again, in my format, I could easily put that in as a 16th card, although, again, sadly not on Edo Pro, because like I said earlier, there's no way to increase the extra deck limit. Like, come on, Edo Pro makers, or whoever does it, like, give us an option to up the extra deck limit. Please. 9. What is your favourite version of the Elemental Hero deck? I've got to say I like the one you're using now. Yeah, the one I'm using now is really great. It is very strong, but I really miss the way I was playing it, like, before the stuff from Power of the Elements, because even maybe before Legendary Duelist 6 Magical Hero. I mean, Liquid Soldier and Sunrise were great additions, but it just sucks that I'm not able to play all of the original fusions. Again, due to lack of extra deck space. I guess, to be honest, my favourite version would have to be the way I had it during the September 2007 format. I mean, yeah, it wasn't competitive, but it was still a ton of fun because I was able to play all of the original anime Elemental Heroes, plus I had Stratos and Ocean in there. It was just great. And of course, there was that one time where I made top 2 for the first time ever with that deck. Mind you, in the Pharaoh's Elite tournaments, until the Age of Synchro started, I was always able to at least make top 8 in those with my Elemental Hero deck. Those were the days. And finally, question 10. If Yuya and Yuma faced each other, who do you think will win, and how do you think the duel will go? It's uh, hard for me to choose, because Yuya is my favourite character and Yuba is my second favourite character. And if you're wondering who my third favourite character is, it's Jaden. Ooh, that's really hard to say. Mind you, there was someone on YouTube who actually did a fan-made duel of it, heavily edited, of course, which was really good and very well done. Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Depends whether it's a normal duel or an action duel. I mean, I feel like Yuma probably would make it an action duel just to make things kind of more even. I don't know, even though that would throw Yuya off. But yeah, I feel like they should easily be able to bring out their best monsters against each other. Although this is my best guess, but I feel like Yuma would be more likely to win. I mean, his deck just seems a bit more consistent, whereas Yuya has a lot of somewhat situational spells and traps. Although some are pretty good, like Wall of Disruption. Don't know why I didn't consider that for my Highlander Yuya deck. Mind you, Yuya does have that comeback power, just being able to bring back all those pendulums that went to the extra deck. This also would be assuming that they'd be playing under Master Rule 3, like back when pendulums were just way too OP. You try and get rid of them with generic destruction and they just keep coming back. Like, God, it was a nightmare. I feel like that would be the same thing here. And should that keep happening, then Yuya does have a chance, but I guess because both he and Yuma both play Xyzes, it would make it easier for Yuma to use Xyz treasure. Yeah, it's a really tough one to call, but I feel like Yuma would be my best guess, considering also he has the option of Utopia Beyond and probably has something to power him up. Of course, there is also Utopia Ray Victory as well. He has multiple ways to get to Utopia, plus it would depend on whether or not he draws any of his rank up spells. Mind you, Volcasaurus would help him out as well, and Big Eye. Yeah, like I said, my guess is going to be Yuma on this one. And that's it for questions in this episode. Thank you very much for your guys' questions, very cool ones as always. And if you've got any other questions you want to ask me, post them in the comments section down below. And remember, I do these episodes every Tuesday afternoon or evening, UK time, so be sure to get your questions in before then, so that you don't miss out. Thanks again, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Richician YouTube channel.